You go into a web engine like AOL or MSN and go into a search engine, which is like CD Now, and you pull up a album. Say I pull up Tommy Edwards, which is also a person that sang my grandmother's song, and it should be appearing on my television show, The Magic Millennium, Tuesdays at 6 o'clock on Channel 56, that they are tuned in the internet with, and CD Now, Windows Media, and Real Player. If I take my mouse clicker and click on the word Window Media, it brings up this beautiful box by Microsoft. Microsoft created a box called Window Media that will play the song just like a jukebox. If you took a quarter or a dollar and put it in a jukebox and you selected a song to play, this is how it would go if you looked into the internet and CD Now, and there are so many record stores and, producing this kind of situation for people to look and buy or even just listen, which is called the MP3, streaming videos and things like that, is all tattooed with some type of situation, which is media area. So many. Real Player and Windows Media are just a couple of, I think, like maybe six, that if you put your video or your song or your album that's selling, for the long term of how we know royalties and copyright infringement is something that we look for in the fighting measure of that's mine, not yours, and if you used it, you owe me this. So with the Windows Media and Real Player forms, I have shown a very lovely way to account the performing situation, not selling, because I have no rights at all on knowing, and I don't even understand yet how the Harry Fox agency accounts to uh, sales of people's records and albums and CDs, whereas they were the ones, the affiliates of them, the National Publishers Association, made kind of a fun in the air of Bill Gates would never be able to count that Windows Media situation that they put out. And what I find in the booklets that I read about them, and not to just speak bad about them, is that we really don't understand how they do their accounting, but the Windows Media now have a stabilized form. And I, as Carolyn Lane Blanchard, OBCB Music Publishing, The Magic Millennium, producer of that. Before that, The Magic Orb, producer of that. And before that, The BBB Show, producer of that, have invented a way for a simplified accounting of music with the Windows Media or Real Player to be formally paid by companies like ASCAP, BMI, and SimSat. Those are the three prominent performance agencies that pay artists, publishers, and record companies, if they're the publishers, performing royalties of all types, from telephone to ringtones to internet to television to radio. This is a very innovative form by two. I have not been able to talk to anybody. I've emailed, I've floppy disk mailed, I've even had the attitude of Harry Fox Agency sending me back a floppy disk, telling me they don't look at or listen to sound floppy disk, which was not a sound on it, but just showing them the twist of taking care of performance royalties is something that they are too looking into as a part of. I will not try to send it back to them. I will not try to do any business with Harry Fox Agency other than they owe my family some kind of repetition of um, explanation of why they have not put in escrow the amount of monies that were owed to Malone and Blanchard's as a um, mechanical royalty to writers. Abco was a company that took over Selma. Selma was a company that was owned by Marty Kraft and probably still is. The gentleman is about in 1999, he was 80 years old. As I have spoke to someone in Warner Brothers, they say Abco has now merged with EMI, a big conglomerate company that wouldn't even want to just see me inside, much less smell me. But I did have a company meeting with Mr. Kraft and Abco and myself at 1700 Broadway. And as we were trying to pan out this to see which way people were looking for the money to twist, they could see that I saw that my family had been through the truly wrong injustice land of mechanical royalties. I could look around this facility of Abco and see where my grandmother's money was tied up. And Mr. Kraft said, these people don't even really talk to me in here that much no more. And when an 80-year-old man says he lost his land, well, you can just look at it and say something ran. So now I look for my grandmother's musical direction of monetary digits in a place where I have just physically put out these forms that will help many years along in the fears of how do you collect the money for something in the cyber lands of how we can see money will run as it has ran. I really hope it helps in a place that I am going to fax in my first 80 pages of Windows Media to BMI, as I am a BMI publisher, to show that it is playing in the internet 1,800 times for 90 days, a quarter of BMI's performing royalties distribution, 600 times in a month, 1,200 times in 2 months, and 1,800 times in 3 months. This has been the hunt of what I have been trying to prove and understand since 1997. I got it down pat. I'm going to fax it in September 2001. This is the fun I see for MP3s, selling CDs and tapes with the option of listening to them in leaves. And hopefully we will get other forms that will help, like situations like DirectX and Sonic, I think it is, Sonic, something else. It's like a couple of other tattoos that come to your musical selection if you download them from your computer onto the internet under a certain Sonic Foundry acid looping situation. You buy something for like $39.99 to put your creativity on the internet, then you want to be able to collect on it because that's what we do. We work and collect the digitary monies to take us on in this. May this work out very well. May I just say that my family will kind of be rid of the injustice of what happened in the past in us. May my grandmother rest in peace, and all the people and co-workers and friends that she trusted that her business would outlive her. And I trust that I will create the business and it will outlive me. And for that, I am Carolyn Blanchard Grisha, and I have created and invented the Windows Media and Real Player Forums, documented 2001.